Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, SUVs, the dogs, the pond. Look at the pond. How tranquil can that be? Just listen. And look, it looks like they're frozen in the pond. Look at that over there. Isn't that pretty neat? It doesn't look that way. They're stuck. Can you hear them? Hey, good Friday morning there, all the subscribers and anybody new watching my channel. Appreciate you tuning in to the Ice Age TV daily, Monday through Friday morning conversations, where I just take the time out of my day in the morning to share my ideas and views and thoughts, and hopefully it pertains to you and help us all hear one another. In all reality, that's the whole idea, is we're trying to hear each other's thoughts and views, and that's what makes it fun, because people do interact on my channel, and I get to comment back, and they comment, and we try to keep it above board, right? We try to keep it simple and not get too radical. So anyways, you're hearing the word "here." I thought to myself this morning, I guess the conversation this morning could be about hearing. I mean, we've talked about used cars, new cars. I can't even keep track of what the hell. Failures. I mean, I just so much information. So the hearing, I thought, is so appropriate to talk about the hearing of where we are today's society, because this electric revolution is definitely changing the way we hear vehicles. And that's a concern. And as always, I talk about my car, city and drive, would use the examples of the conversation. But first thing I got to do is get all the dogs in before they see something and run amok. And we got to get in the shop. The electric truck yesterday, which I worked out of, and crazy, my tools got bound up in this front frunk, and this damn frunk wouldn't open and the board light wouldn't close. I truly thought I was going to be stuck at a job yesterday, all because of the frunk not closing. So my tools got jammed up in there, and you can't get the thing to manually open. I'm gonna try and get my barn opener this Friday morning, trying to get things going, and it just doesn't end on the projects. Always on a project. Come on, pups, let's go. And the never-ending conversations of the motorcycle addictions and the car addictions. Blah, 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 right? Everybody's like, yeah, man, we know your story, Iceman. The guy's got to be buying something. If he ain't buying something, he ain't content. Come on, Ginger. Come on, baby. And here's Kiefer just destroys tennis balls within a 5-minute time frame, if that. All right, lights, camera, action. Wow, what a week. Yesterday, man, I'm telling you what, I busted my ass. I'm not lying. I was wanting to kind of go to Jersey, see my friend Tim, but it just ain't happening, man. Just too much going on. So there, if you're listening this morning, Tim, sorry. Just too much on the agendas. And for me, I'm just totally losing it. There's some mud guards for my freaking Raptor truck. I didn't think I ordered those damn things. And I got another set of mud guards coming in. So what the hell is going on, right? And here we are to the back of the motorcycle shop. And yeah, so it spurred the hearing. I don't know. For me, I always just try to come up with a word that we can take and translate back to the cars into the state of times. And I just thought to myself this morning on the hearing, and boy, is that a serious challenge. And for those that really watch my channel, I'm borderline deaf in some ways, because my hearing is so bad. I have to wear hearing aids. It runs my family. My brother's 85% deaf. He doesn't even hear out of his left ear. And so my dad's genes in the family. So the hearing issues in my family, between my sister, my dad, myself, my brother, it's not good. And I think my daughter has it as well, because I'm just kind of noticing a lot when I say something to her, she doesn't hear me. You know, is it hearing or listening? And that's the challenge. But I thought, as usual, we could take these electric vehicles and use those as an example of where we are in today's society, the evolving on hearing things. And as everybody knows, these exhausts, the gas, the ice, the exhaust is such the moment of hearing the noise that makes us all get so excited about the ice age. But yet here in the EV age, it's been talked about many times over the years that these are silent vehicles. You push the button to electrify them, and you don't really hear much per se. And there's a big concern over the years that these electric vehicles are going to create pedestrian fatalities because of people can't hear them, especially like in the inner cities, and people walk out in front of a car not knowing a car is coming down the road, because we're also used to hearing the piped truck. Like when my daughter starts up that black Ram truck down there, the coal burner, you can hear that thing, you know, it's blah, 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 blah. You know, it's noisy as all get out, borderline obnoxious. But if you're an individual that's walking down the street, as long as you're not deaf, you're going to hear that thing coming way before it even comes to get close to you. And yeah, the modern cars that are ICE, those definitely are much more quieter. So I would be a fool here to say, oh, the electric vehicles are a danger to society over ICE vehicles, because anymore the technology of these vehicles, especially the the 4-cylinder ones, 6, but you just don't really hear the exhaust note on them. But that's the whole thing. So many people I run into, it's always about the exhaust note. I mean, it's all about hearing your car start up. And why is Max custom exhaust in business? Because the exhaust isn't good enough for those that go out and buy a car and they want to mod it out and change it. Even to the point, there's many states and laws that have really cracked down on the decibel level. And that's, if you watch my Max custom exhaust, when I did the exhaust change out on the what car did I even do it on, man? Just incredible. For me, my dark horse inside the garage. I'm gonna have to plumb crazy because we took that over there as well. But the whole point is, people take their cars over there to get the exhaust to have higher decibels. And in that one here, was it 2 weeks ago? It's hard for me to even believe. Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it a week ago? I just can't keep track. When we took the car over and had that whole decibel, I was starting to challenge the owner, being funny and giggly about how, where's the decibel meter for these young kids that roll in with a Honda Civic, that they want to make the car even louder. You know, when the car rolled in, the damn thing was loud as hell as it was. I'm like, how the hell you get this thing any louder? And that's why I just kind of got a kick out of all that at the kids' expense. But they just felt like they weren't hearing that car be loud enough. And that's a huge problem. I've got a good friend of mine back at Kuhn Sterling Ford that used to have a Ford Focus RS, and he modded the hell out of that thing. And he literally, they took away his registration for him and forced him to take that car back to be the factory exhaust because it was too loud. There's a guy in our neighborhood that has a Subaru, like a WRX. That thing is so loud, you can hear him go by every morning going to work. Here is the Super Bee, the Dodge Super Bee. So I'm down to one charger, and I had 2 chargers, and I'm sure some people are mumbling under their breath about how I could give up a Hellcat Red-Eye. Well, when you're paying, in so many ways, $800 more a month for that so-called badass get out of the way versus what I pay in this month, I mean, it's all about the money, and it's all about, it's sat in the garage all the time. I mean, and somebody here would really say, yeah, you got a lot of vehicles, you don't need all the vehicles. And I would say, yeah, right, you make too much sense. I get all that. Mr. Sanchez thinks I need to thin out my fleet. I mean, I'm thinking, wow, are my wife and him talking behind the scenes? Am I not hearing these conversations? My wife has reached out to Mr. Sanchez that they're strategizing how to get me to get rid of my vehicles? Wow, what's going on there, Mr. Sanchez? Come on, you gotta have fun. You only live once. But his concern is more about, hey, the well-being of me as I get older, and I appreciate that. That, you know, people know this is a lot of money. How do you afford all this stuff and still save any money? You don't. Something's sacrificed. Yeah, for me to continue to have the car addictions, something's being sacrificed. What's that? Well, my wife's biggest concern. It's the future of the money. Where the hell is the money going to be besides just thrown away into all these vehicles that I've owned and what's their value eventually, and blah blah blah. So so what are you hearing? That's the challenge for all of us, is what do you want to hear and what you don't want to hear. When it comes to politics, it's so blatant, it's beyond believable, because people don't want to hear the other side's views, so they just turn it off. And that's why the country's in such a division more than ever, in my views, because you have people just don't want to hear the way it is. And we get into that more as we progress with the morning hearing conversations. And I talk very loud because my hearing, it's all about my hearing. My wife, when I was first married to my wife, I didn't have hearing aids. And, for her, it was just always, I'm so loud. I'm so loud because I grew up in a family of serious hearing issues. So we always were borderline yelling at each other, not really, but in so many aspects. And so my wife came in a relationship with a man, Iceman, which she wasn't used to a person being so loud, because it's my tone deafness that I just can't hear things. But now going back to the electric vehicle here's the Ford F-150 Lightning. And yesterday I made a little video when I was coming home, but I never posted it. It is crazy on how this vehicle here, it's so different. The electric vehicle, it's so different from the ICE vehicle. And really, as much as I want to compare it to the Raptor truck, I can't, because this is really more a comparison to the F-150 Power Boost. I mean, they're the same truck in so many aspects, but one has a motor in front of it and has an exhaust tailpipe, and the other vehicle doesn't have a motor in front of it. It has all my tools in front of it, and it has no tailpipe. But the way this truck rides, it's just so it's so weird. It's just, and don't take it wrong for anybody out there who has these Lightning trucks. These are badass trucks. This thing hauls ass. You can smoke so many people in this truck. It just rocks. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's a wavy truck. It's a big truck. You can feel the battery pack in this thing, and it's just a lazy truck. It just, you go down the road, and it just doesn't feel like my other truck. This just has that unique feel to it with no engine noise in it, no exhaust noise. And it's like it floats down the road. I mean, I guess that's kind of how you could say it, but it's a heavy feeling float, and it just isn't, it doesn't feel like my other trucks do, where they just feel more planted to the road and just have more of a truck feel. So it's just these electric vehicles. It's just weird, and that's why I bought them. I know a lot of people be like, you're the hypocrite. You talk both sides out of your, the left side of your mouth, the right side of your mouth all the time, because you're here, you get ramped up about this electric age, but you're the guy who went out and bought the damn stuff, and you're the guy ranting and raving about the electric blah blah blah. But look what you did yourself. For me, I want to get the real experience. I want to see. Instead of hearing things, I want to see things. I want to feel things. And isn't that something about hearing? I mean, you hear something, but don't you want to feel that something or see that something? Isn't that a challenge of the media? You hear things, but actually to see it or feel it is a whole different ballgame. And that's a huge problem in today's society more than ever. The media machine wants people to hear things, but they don't want them to see things. And it's really bad. It's driving ideology that's really bad in today's society. And sadly, in my views, we have a city administration that is wanting you to hear things, but you actually don't get to see things. It's bad. So here we are with Triumph Motorcycle. What do you hear when you start this up? I hear a really cool exhaust note out of this vehicle, which I think is just really nice. What happens when I started up my Mustang that I took to Max Custom Exhaust and we cut out the resonator? It sounds really nice. So I hear a really nice noise out of this car. And for me, it's like the perfect sound. That other Mustang out front, that's a really loud Mustang. That thing is loud. Borderline in some ways, maybe too loud. My Ford race truck, That truck there, it is so loud. If I go down the road and somebody calls me, I can barely hear them because that truck is so loud with that dual exhaust, and it's a short bed truck. So those mufflers are really close up into that that area. As we kind of go out here and got to show you the race truck, right? As we walk around and you get to see all the property of the Iceman. And so here's the race truck. When you start that up, that thing's loud. When you're in it, it's louder. So as I drive down the road, it's very challenging to talk to somebody as I go down the road. It's too loud in so many aspects. But at the same time, it's really cool, and it gives you that race truck feel. Apparently, Steeda is offering a Steeda 770 package. If you want, you can go to Steeda, and apparently they'll build you an F-150 truck just like this and supercharge it. It's all about the money, or just do a suspension on it and make it look really cool. I wonder if the Iceman's truck has created the drive for that. Yeah, right. They're kind of trying to copy the Shelby product, but it sounds like it's kind of affordable. But these trucks are choppy. These trucks are great, but to work out of them, to go on a long trip, I mean, it's going to be 2 people, 3. Yeah, right. So it has its pluses and minuses, but for me, I'm blessed to be able to have this and many other things and not be my daily driver, because there's just no way. It wouldn't work. As I've said many times, this Ford Power Boost would always be my number one choice for just an overall vehicle. If I just had to go down to very few vehicles, it'd be that truck because it's so versatile. So what are you hearing when we turn on this Lightning truck? Well, what we're here is all the whistles and the bells and everything else. And we'll unplug her because the battery is completed for the charging process. And even though some people will say you're nuts, your garage is going to catch on fire, but I let the battery cool down. I don't plug this thing in until late in the evening. So if I get back in at 5, I don't plug this thing in until like 7. So the batteries have plenty of time. So here we are getting into this Lightning truck. And as people know, I've done it so many times. Okay, so now you turn it on. How many miles? 328 miles. So I just turned it on. Got to turn the brake on. All right, so that's pretty cool. It remembers that from yesterday. Put it in sport mode. To start, press brake. To start. I already did start it. It's already in gear. Who knows? This is the thing. Is the truck running? What do you hear? Yeah, this is it. This is where it becomes very challenging in this vehicle, because this is it. When you're sitting in traffic, when you're driving on the road, besides the wind noise, this is it. So it's just, and you don't feel anything. You don't feel the engine. You just don't, I mean, it's just, wow. So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Is there a separation? I mean, is that a major problem in relationships? Is the silence? I mean, so many ways. Is the electric vehicle really what's going on in society, that they want to silence us? I mean, I think it sounds kind of a little radical there, but you think it through. Is the electric vehicle a perfect example of where we're going in this country? That it's just, you need to be quiet. And here it is. I mean, it's so quiet. And I think, and then whatever you hear, they don't really want you to hear. Could we even say that? But then yet you come over here to the Dark Horse Mustang, and we get in this vehicle. I don't know if the keys are in this car or not. I can't remember anything on all my adventures of my vehicles. I think my keys are somewhere else. And for me, it's always about having to figure out what stays, what doesn't, where it goes. Just like that Super Bee out there. Where is that? So I don't know. Let's see here. There it is. So anyway, so now we get in this car here. And I mean, it's a no-brainer for anybody here to watch my channel. Oh, and I've locked myself out. So now we get in. and you're getting ready to go to Friday morning to work, beautiful day out, and come on, this has to be the fun factor. If you're getting your day going, and you get your nice brand new Mustang, and you start her up, I mean, and I even rolled down the window. I mean, come on. And I mean, if you open the door up, you want to hear a little bit more rumble. You put the windows down. Take my little thing where I can now put the windows down without getting any problems here. I mean, just listen to exhaust. I mean, do you want to like drive this car now? You want to go down the road? I mean, wow. And I know when I watch these videos, you can hear that rumble through this phone. I mean, just incredible on how, and it's kind of toned down now. So, it's incredible how this technology, it's all about the technology for all this stuff. So yeah, so to me, I think I'm hearing what I want to hear. I'm hearing a really cool car that's had a really nice exhaust note to it. And I mean, who doesn't just love doing that as you drive down the road? So for me, wow. And I wonder why right now there's a huge amount of electric vehicles on the Ford side that are sitting on the lots, because I mean, sincerely, if you get in the Mustang Mach-E, turn it on, get in the Ford Lightning truck, turned on, it's just like it's soulless. It's a soulless vehicle. It's an empty suit. I've said that from day one on how these electric vehicles are, because you just don't hear anything. Just like the electric motorcycles, I don't get it. I don't get electric motorcycles. I'm not talking about a scooter to putt around the city. I'm saying an open road, electric motorcycles. Sorry, guys out there, have your electric motorcycles. I don't get it. You're telling me when I go to the gas station and I've got to put 5 gallons of gas in this motorcycle. We'll just say it's $5 a gallon. That's 4. We'll say 5. And I spend $25. I spend $25 for this motorcycle here to ride it around. You're telling me on your electric bike, that's the difference of you being able to go ride your motorcycle? I mean, beyond believable. The other day I tried to start my Harley, and this thing just isn't getting ridden, and it didn't want to start. It's not good. It says new 121 motor, and I'm like, what the hell is this all about? See that? Did you just hear that? What's going on? So what's going on with the brand new Harley? Now it won't start. You'll just listen to this thing here. See that? It's got something going on with the ignition. Look at that. And yep, so this thing's got an issue. I'll probably have to haul this thing up because it's the 121. What do you think that is? It's that new valve, valve timing, whatever he did with it. But let's go over to Indian, since one of my favorite subscribers says the Indian is the deal. So let's see what the Indian does. And this Indian is sat far longer than this Harley has. And this is where people say, yeah, that Harley, here we go. Uh-oh. Won't start. And I do have the charger in. No, or don't I? Do I have this thing on the battery tender? Is it plugged in? I don't think it is. For the battery. I've already replaced one battery on this bike. So the thing I can figure out right now is, and this is the thing. No, it's charging. There you go. Hey, let's see if the real deal, the 117 Harley, okay, let's see what this thing does, okay? Gotta make sure the damn thing's in neutral as it blasts off through my barn. And it takes a while. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Yep. Come on. Can you hear it? Yeah, I think you can hear it. Is that nice or what? As the 121, yeah, the foot, the Indian, it just doesn't get think this is a great bike. I think the 117 motor is the better bike. At 121, you're already seeing used CVOs populating brand new at dealerships. What's going on? That variable valve timing is probably just a terrible engineering design, which I even had that instinct in me. What's so crazy is I totally wrote off buying the new CVO because the CVO Road Glide wasn't available, only Street Glide, and then at the end the frickin' Road Glide comes available. And so what do? I buy the damn thing. So it's been sitting a second again. So to give the Harley one more shot, I went through this other day. Let's see. Came to life. I mean, I put the Crowworks exhaust on it. Sounds good. So, let's go back to the Indian. I don't think the Indian is going to have a glimmer of hope here because there's too much going on. Oh, we got it. We got her. How about that? Hey, is this Wheels Through Time? Yeah, is this the Wheels Through Time Museum with Dale? Dale resurrecting all those older motorcycles. Anybody remember that? Yeah, good old Dale. If you're ever down there in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, go to the Wheels Through Time Museum and see all the motorcycles that Dale collected throughout his lifetime and resurrect them. So funny, my Harley Davidson motorcycle back there has picked up my phone and it's actually playing music when I really don't want it to play music. So isn't that something? So the technology on that damn thing overtook. But here you go. I mean, who doesn't just love the exhaust fumes? Yeah, and up, it went right back. So this thing automatically jumps right back into playing my music and everything else. So and there is the Indian, which sounds like she's a sputtering away. And see, huge difference in noise. Huge difference. The Indian's much more tamed than the Harleys, which is fine. But it just, I think the Harley has a better exhaust note. I like the Harley exhaust better. As for Mr. Army retired vet, Mr. Reed, he loves the Indian, and I like the Indian product. Challenge I have is, as he says, I'm the multi-brand guy, which I don't disagree. I'm the multi-brand guy, but I like to have the different rides, and I just have so many years of having these bagger bikes. I'm just to the point where it's like, it's even for the new Honda Goldwing, I don't know. This is such a cooler ride, but it's not the touring bike ride. So here's what it really comes down to. If you're really going to ride 300, 400, 500 mile days, this is not the bike. If you're going to ride 300, 400, 500 mile days, these are the motorcycles. But for me, it's usually 100, 200 mile days riding. So in some ways, these are overkill in some ways. But they're very comfortable, they're very accommodating because of all the tour bags. But at the same time, this Triumph is very accommodating because of its tour bags that I have on it now. Not as big, but it's all about this has the front fairings that keeps that wind off of you. And you can put the lowers on this Indian, but I wouldn't do it because I think you're going to have that pursuit problem of the front wobble, which keeps that air off of you in the cooler months. But on the Harley, I looked into getting lowers for this Harley. They don't have anything. So this new design motorcycle, I guess you could take off this side panel here and get a bigger highway bar to get lowers. That'd be very interesting to see what Harley shows on the new touring bikes with having the lowers, or I guess they can just make it so the lowers attach this here properly. And so I really am excited to see the new touring models that are apparently coming out like in early January. They're going to show the reveal of those. Already, Harley dealers are getting 2024 motorcycles in stock. Yeah, the trikes are in. And the Gold Rush style trike that I wanted up there at Chesapeake Harley, it's gone. It's really weird. You go to these websites and you look at all these different inventories, these Harley dealers, and I can see some of them have a lot of inventory that hasn't moved. The new Breakout, the white Breakout, that's a really cool looking motorcycle. I like that. Now what's interesting here is this car here. This car here is like the loudest of all the Mopars. That car there, if I can find the key to that car, hopefully I can. That, if you had to hear this thing, it's hard to believe. I don't know what the person did to this car right here, but when they did do it, it's got a hell of an exhaust note on it. And let's see if I can get it. I think I did. That thing. You hear that? You hear that? I mean, that's not too shabby for the. I don't know what this one's for. Wow. The keys. Never any keys. There it is. This car here. When I get my other one to start up, so you can hear that. It's all about what you hear. Now listen to this exhaust. Back here, let's start this one up. But there's no modded exhaust. It's not bad. This is the Hellcat motor. So which is louder, we know. This up here is Scat Pack. Sounds so much nicer. Let's listen to this one. Yeah, whether it's on or not, let's listen to it, right? This is what you have. I mean, I think that Scat Pack is such a nice package. Pretty incredible how many people are responding to my daughter gets a car. That thing's had a huge amount of hits on the my channel. So, yeah, so as we kind of keep the conversation going, get the heck upstairs. And now, let's go out to Mustang Mach-E. I'm not. Let's go out to Mustang Mach-E. I mean, let's go up to this Mustang here, and let's start that up. But I think you heard that too. But go to Mustang Mach-E. Let's start it up. What do you hear? It's just nothing there. There's just... And so, once again, it goes back to what drives the Ice Age. And we all know that, sadly, the guys like at Dodge think they can create a noise to replace the real deal, which is just in so many ways embarrassing. Can you imagine being Tim Knuskis and being told we're going to bring out this electric car and we're going to put this noise in it to make it sound like it's a gas car? I mean, if I was Tim Knuskis, I'd be like, wow. Do I need to resign? Do I need to go find another job? I mean, what am I hearing? And you know what they heard? They heard the Mopar community scream bloody murder of what a disgrace of the true Mopar legends of All About the Power. They're bringing this golf cart to the market. And let's see here. I gotta get my heater on. This on. Get seated here without turning off the phone. And yeah, so I guess Tony Stewart and Leah Pruitt have something going on. Have you heard the latest? Have you heard? Are you hearing what's going on? So apparently, Tony Stewart wants to get pregnant. Yeah, Tony is going to let Leah continue to drive the Top Fuel dragster for his team. And Tony Stewart's going to stay home and prove to the woke movement that even race car drivers can get pregnant and be stay-at-home dads. Yeah. Have you read about this? You got to look it up. Yeah. Tony Stewart, Leah Pruitt. is Tony Stewart owns Matt Hagan and Leah Pruitt's, Top Fuel dragster and Top Fuel funny cars. That's his business. So look it up. And if you believe that, then you definitely aren't hearing conversations on my channel every day because, yeah, right. But a lot of people would probably believe it in today's society. So actually what's going on, Leah Pruitt is stepping aside to become a mommy, and Tony Stewart's taking her seat. Wow. So Tony Stewart, who was never a dragster guy, who just got into it here in the last few years, and he raced for a different team this past season. Next season, he'll be sitting in Leah's seat. And wow. And so for Leah, she just about won the Nationals this year. She came in third. It was the last round there, if anybody's following the NHRA. Great stuff. And so just imagine if Tony Stewart, first year out, replacing Leah, takes honors. To accomplish that, I mean, that is so challenging. There's so many variables to that, but if he did, how would Mama Leah feel? But you know as well as I do, once Leah probably gets things in order with the new child in the family that's a Tony Jr. or Leah Jr., you just know as time progresses, you fast forward 20 years from now, and are you seeing the Leah or the Tony Jr. racing electric dragsters? That's where it's all probably going with, what are we hearing? So that's the thing here. I just thought to myself, have you watched Jerome Powell here, what was it, 2 days ago now, that made the presentation for everybody to hear what's going on? If this isn't the most befuddling administration, governing bodies, bank powers ever in modern times, I don't know what is. Does any of this stuff make any sense of what you hear? Jerome Powell is telling everybody that, guess what? We're going to have a soft landing on this supposedly recession. Hey, guess what? The inflation's finally tamed down. But what people aren't hearing, so the markets are rallying. Markets are getting, we're going to be back at a 40 Dow. It's very possible. Things seem to be beautiful out there. Seems to be people hearing things are just fine and dandy. Everything's great. Everything's beautiful. And Jerome Powell is making comments that they feel like they are going to possibly start cutting rates next year. But nobody heard the other part of the conversation. He said they still may raise the rates another 2 or 3 times. But then in the end, they may cut the rates back 2 or 3 times. So I just think, wow. So on the one hand, he's saying they may raise the rates up, but then at the end of the day, they lower them down. But then at the end result is it's 0. If you're at 6 right now, and you go to 6.25, it's like 5. Go 5.25, 5.5, 5.75. Try to keep the inflation tamed down because things aren't taming down as quick as they want. But then by the middle of election next year, he starts cutting rates from 5.75 to 5.5, and then back 5.25 back to 5. It's 0. But the market speculators will think something happened. So it's like, what are you hearing? What are you hearing that now makes you think that the world's on fire in this country, and everybody and their brother should be jumping up and down and hurrah, hurrah, the banking system that imploded this past spring. Does anybody remember Silicon Valley Bank? Does anybody remember all these banks that went broke off of the investments of green agenda and ideology, ESG? Does anybody remember this stuff? But it's just like, poof. People don't hear. People do not hear. All people want to do is say what they want to say, but not listen to what is said. It's beyond believable. And we're sitting in more than ever. And look what they're doing to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is really getting hammered right now on his Twitter purchase. The SEC and in California, some judge is really pounding her fist that Elon Musk has to come back to court yet again for testimonies of how he finagled this Twitter deal. Don't you think that this sitting administration wants to shut this X down as fast as possible before election year comes? I mean, sincerely, I talked about the other day. The FCC now has the powers to be to shut down X. It does. Read it. It's a fact. Kamala Harris talked about it in great length last week about the telecommunications, the internet, ISPs, on how the one part of the bill tells everybody's going to get net zero. Everybody's going to have internet. People are going to subsidize the internet. They're going to force the internet service providers to be more diplomatic, and everybody plays in a level playing field. Everybody gets the internet. Blah, blah, blah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, but by the way, FCC now has total control of the internet. It can silence anybody they want. Did you read that fine print? Of course you did. Because you didn't hear. You only heard, oh, Kamala Harris said, oh, this is fantastic. We're forcing the ISPs now to put internet service in everywhere in the country, and everybody gets treated the same, and they're going to be subsidized, and blah, 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 blah. Nobody heard her say, because she never said it, that, oh, by the way, the FCC now is going to control all the internet content. Hello, Elon Musk. Boy, I talked about it in so much length in the last year. Elon Musk will be the next major target of this governing body. In so many ways, could be many aspects of the governing bodies to silence this guy and to make him the punching bag. So, what are you hearing? What are we hearing? Right now, this is factual. Right now, I haven't did my cars.com. In a 50-mile radius, we're now up to 700 Mach-E Mustangs. In a 50-mile radius. 100-mile radius, you're close to 1,000 Mustang Mach-E Mustangs sitting on lots. Ford F-150 Lightning truck, 50-mile radius, close to 300 trucks. 100-mile radius, you go to 500 trucks. Right now, the Mustang Mach-E is at 284 days of sitting on a lot. So you're talking 6 times 30 is 180, 8 times 30 is 240. 8 times, 8 times, so 9 times 30 is 270. So 10 months. You're talking about close to 10-month inventory for a dealer now. And the dealers have to start buying these things. He's where it's all going. What this, in so many ways, incompetent administration doesn't understand about all this, the automotive manufacturer relationship, is these automotive dealerships eventually have to buy the car. There comes a crossroads where manufacturer says, you got to pay up, man. You got to pay up. You had to sell these cars. I can't help you can't sell these damn things. I've made them. I spent all this money back end. You now have to buy them. So these dealerships you have to have deep pockets. You have to go to the bank now and start now borrowing money to buy these freaking things and start paying interest on them. So what's the next Inflation Reduction Act? I can guarantee it. Joe Biden announced they're going to reimburse all these car dealerships and manufacturers for all these cars sitting on the lot at the taxpayer's expense. You watch it. It'll be the biggest money grab in the recent times by this sitting administration to continue to push its agendas, and how it handles it, it'll just continue to bill the taxpayers. It's not ending. The Ukraine, you see what's going on in the Ukraine and the southern border? Are you hearing what's going on? I mean, so in so many aspects, the GOP has come to the table and are offering to go ahead and allocate the monies for Ukraine to get their money to continue to fight the war against Russia. But what you're not hearing much of, because if you go to X, all you hear is all the liberal-minded people talk all day long about is how the GOP is the problem all day long. They don't ever talk about the Democratic Party doesn't want to acknowledge that the illegal immigration is a major problem in this country, and the GOP party wants to have stricter guidelines and rules before they allocate more money to Ukraine. And the Democratic Party, basically, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear it. There's your challenge. And then for the people that are on Joe Biden's side, they want to hear it. I know people say, well, dude, you could be the Trump guy. I'm not the Trump guy. I'm just trying to be a realist guy of what makes sense. I mean, in so many aspects, do you think this sitting government makes any sense? I don't think it does. I think this government is so out of control, it's beyond believable. I think most people watch my channel and say the same thing. Why you take sides with a guy named Joe Biden, I have no idea. The only thing I can figure out is that you're on agendas for the green agenda. You're being enriched by the green agenda. You may be more pro abortion than non-abortion. You could be more wanting to be the LBGTV. Who knows? It's an agenda that each administration kind of caters to one way or the other. So I get all that. If that's what it's all about, then I get it. But then at the same time, you have to say to yourself, there's fine lines where you have to be listening and hearing to what's going on around us, and to continue to hear the media machine, this administration, pound its chest that everything's great. And they've created all these new jobs after everybody was laid off during the pandemic, to only now say that they've created all these new jobs. Then it's like, but how? Because everybody was laid off. Does everybody remember hearing the stories day in, day out? That what the news told you day in, day out? What did the news tell you day in, day out? What did you hear from March of 2020 until really into 2022? What did you hear every day of your life? What did you hear? Right? We all know what you heard. Yes, you're going to be sick. You're going to be sick. That's what you heard every day of your life. You're going to be sick. Yeah, I think we all are sick. We're all sick and tired of hearing this stuff. That's a major concern of what we're getting ready to hear next. What are we getting ready to hear next? What is a major announcement to be hearing next as we go into 2024 election year? I think a lot of people are very abreast to what we're going to be hearing. And so here's Jerome Powell. I mean, sincerely, I get it. I get that in this country, there's a lot of people still making a lot of money and doing extremely well. If anybody thinks otherwise, think you're foolish. But at the same time, I think that a lot of people aren't doing very well, but you don't hear about that as much. It just doesn't seem like you hear, per se, a lot of the sad stories. Anybody out there, send links, send information, send comments. Yeah, where I live, we're hearing about all these people being laid off. We're hearing about people are lined up at the church every Wednesday that offers food to the homeless and for the poor, where there's a mile long of people in line. We saw this. My daughter and I actually were out and about in Silver Spring, Maryland here a while back, and we witnessed at a church that there was blocks to blocks and blocks of people in line. My daughter was like, "What's that all about?" It's like those are people waiting in line to receive food because they don't have the money. It's huge, but it just isn't talked about. The media machine doesn't want to talk about it. They don't want us to hear the gloom and doom of it really so many, I'm sure, feel. But now here's the next thing. What do you hear about the UAW? Are you hearing Sean Fain anymore pound his chest about how he got this incredible union deal? But we're hearing now that already the automotive manufacturers are very concerned for this deal that they struck with the UAW as they try to phase into the EV transition. And wait till Elon Musk. I can't wait to hear when Elon Musk reveals his new, most dynamic, advanced manufacturing operation in the world that mankind's ever seen. And so when that is revealed, you hear that. What do you think GM and Ford and Stellantis, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to hear that Elon now has mastered building cars where the hourly rate now for the machines is $20 an hour versus I think Elon's manual labor rate is like $45 per hour for the average person to help build a car. So it'll translate into to the Optimus. That's where it's all going. It's going to, and that's why Elon Musk is moving as quick as he can to get this humanoid robot, because he knows he can start putting these things in these factories to replace mankind's positions. So what are you hearing? What's the underlying message? I said about it earlier. Underlying message of this EV transition, if you really are hearing what's going on, it's you're being silenced. You're going to be silenced. You're going to be not going to have a job because of all this infrastructure of this EV technology isn't just in the cars. It's transitioned into the humanoids, the robots, the automation. So there's so many things going on that the green agenda is attached to for so-called making the world a better place, Mother Nature a better place. But what about mankind? In the end, is mankind really going to be better off, per se, based on all these green agendas that are transforming and eliminating, in so many aspects, the goodwill of mankind, that what he does, and how you'll be looked at not to be such a smart human, because a humanoid will overtake you with its artificial intelligence that was created by mankind. Wow, it gets deep, gets heavy. That's it for the week. Long week, a lot of conversations, and even for me, it's like, wow, what was the week about? Right. Every week I try to kind of keep a theme of everything kind of going the same, and at the end of the day, it's not easy, but at the same time, I enjoy it. So we had the used conversations, and then we had the new conversation, and then we had the fear conversations, and then we had the failure conversations. And now today, we have the hearing conversations. And so I thought maybe that was a pretty good week in review of what we've talked about, and hope others just kind of share the channel and can kind of relate with what I'm saying. And that's what I think brings back a lot of people to watch my channel, is because you can just kind of relate with, if you look around what's going on, it's so it's not good. And who's driving all this stuff? It gets heavy and deep. All right, everybody, that's it. What am I doing next? You never know with me. What if a Honda Goldwing comes in? I don't know, man. It's just that. What's the next motorcycle I buy? What do I buy? That Breakout's so cool, but is that practical? The Trike, the RG, that thing's so cool, but who knows? Anyways, hey, everybody, have a great day. God bless. Stay safe and stay tuned.